Politics, starting in 7 minutes. douglAr Politics, we're live from Atlantic Studios. douglAr Politics, share the live, share the info. We go live shortly. douglAr Politics. No thanks. I don't need clappers.
politics, yo. douglAr politics. Listen, douglAr politics, yeah. douglAr politics. This is douglAr politics, yeah. douglAr politics. This is douglAr politics. douglAr politics. This is douglAr politics, yo. douglAr politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAr Politics. I would say Happy New Year, but I would be lying because nothing could be happy with there are so many unemployed. I passed by the hospice there by the harp yesterday morning or Tuesday morning and seeing over 80 people waiting for food, starving. And then when I ask around, they say, boy, you find I plenty? Wait till 11, 12 o'clock where they'll have about 300 citizens. People are falling below the poverty line. The poverty line now is up at 30%. Everything going up. They start a patch road and Rohan taking picture because he paved 2 roads. When nearly every single road in this country, if you take your eye off the road for a second, you bust your tire and your rim. Unemployment, crime, little babies getting killed, shot in the chest. The school in a mess. You can't even get assistants to play pan. So I can't tell all you Happy New Year because people were talking yesterday in a RIC consultation about Norway. Imagine them have the audacity to talk about Norway. In Norway, things work. You could go to the hospital and you could get medicine. People can't get the oncology drugs now in St. James. People waiting for surgery again. Old people getting cataract appointment for 2024. They mightn't be alive in 2024, but they could go and fix the eye in the casket. That's what's going on in Trinidad and Tobago. So I'm glad at least all you are alive to listen and hear the issues on douglAr politics. Now one strong, good-looking, strapping young man is dead because of pure stupidity. A fella called Shomari Fraser. And I'm sorry to be harsh, but I have to be harsh because I'm fed up tell all you. Water is to be respected. You could drown in a bucket. If you can't swim, stay out the flipping water. There are so much waste to dead in Trinidad and Tobago. You will throw away your precious. Let me read this, because all you might feel I get vexed for no reason. Man 22 drowns off Farallon Rock. His friend was telling Guardian Media that he could not swim. Shomari could not swim, but he liked to prove a point. What point you prove? That you could drown? That if you can't swim, you will drown? What point? I'm just trying to figure out. Because your mother takes you time to make you. You're brilliant, you're fit, you have a whole life to live at 22. And you prove a point that when you can't swim, you go drown. You couldn't read a book. They said they went 5:30 in the evening, going out to Farallon. You can't swim, you're going out in the water in the dark. I can really swim, but when it's dark, I don't really go in water. It's feel a little frightened and think, oh, you ain't no one inside it. As the pirogue approached the island, which has an old jetty and a building, 2 of Fraser's friends jumped into the water and started to swim to the rock. Fraser, who could not swim, attempted to follow them. And then the girl saying, remember it's dark. So after he gone down, they say when he jumped off the boat, well, he went down. So where he expected to go up, and now he dead. A young man dead from pure abject stupidity. I sorry, condolences to the family, but young people and big people, respect the water. And to all of you who have children, put your children in a swimming class. Not just any swimming class, sit down and watch. Because they have some people teaching swimming out there, don't have a clue about taking a pole and letting little babies hold a pole and dragging them. All this, I go start anyway. Here the next set of madness in this country. Like all you don't have enough weight to dead. All you know that when you open, you go and eat doubles, you could dead. You go to the grocery, you could dead. You could drive and you could dead. You could go at COVID, you could dead. You go in the hospital, you could dead. You go for Panadol by the hospital, you could dead. You go by Balize house, you could dead. That's stupidity. But look how all you want to dead. Look how this madness, how this person lost their life from pure stupidity, and I want a report from the police on this driver if they get locked up already without bail. Run it. Now watch this carefully, There is a zebra crossing there, right? A human being is going to do the correct thing. Three cars going to stop, 4 cars. Look at this fool. And bounce the person, and so, let me tell you, they drive and turn into the person and hit the human being and drive off. I have not seen a report of that person. I want to see the face. I want to see it post up. I want to see police have them in handcuffs. This, Archie, play it again, thank you. Watch this. People are stopping for a human being to cross, and look at this. By this country, we mad. I now understand how so much all you could vote PNM. The dotishness is in we veins. We had to be stupid. As I say stupid, Haddad, the PNM put in charge of football. Mr. Billionaire, who come into football with people being owed, taxi driver, maxi driver, caterer, workers, coaches, ball boys, being owed money. Haddad, a billionaire, who would have spent at least 10,000 to fill his boat with gas to go fishing. He come into football and pay himself 1.2 million over the period that he did. And we lost. He hired Terry Fennick and Bahamas between with man who belly bigger than mine. And Haddad say he want to stay in football. Haddad, nobody ask you. Nobody want you. Nobody need you. Take your stupid self and go now. You're humbugging the people football. And then as we say that, well, Shamfa Kujo, you are the greatest. Shamfa Kujo boasting that the Commonwealth Games, youth games are coming. They're going to spend 80 million to fix up the Hazy Crawford Stadium for Commonwealth Youth Games. Then they take a picture handing out $3.5 million for hotels, a deposit for the sport tourism. The government paying hotels for games that they hosting, where the government had to pay everything for all them athletes who come in here, and the PNM call that sport tourism. That's not sport tourism. That's called wasting money and wasting time. Sport tourism is when you market your facilities and teams pay money to take flights to come here, pay for their hotel rooms, pay for their taxis and the maxis and the buses, pay to utilize your facilities, pay to go to Maracas and to the waterfalls and go hiking, pay for massage therapy and doctors and physiotherapists and so on. People come here to train, to spend their money, and every 100 people that come over a year, if you get 10,000 people coming, you increase the GDP of Trinidad and Tobago by $100 million for every 10,000. So you want to encourage people to come and train in the stadium, come and train in the cycling velodrome, in the aquatic center, not host our games and waste money. But you know why that waste money? Because Noel Garcia, remember Noel Garcia, I seen coming out the massive stores in Alice Glen a while back with a big bag. And I swear I see Rowley name on it, but I didn't have my glasses yet, and now get glasses, right? So I ain't sure, but it looked like Noel Garcia had a big bag with Rowley name on it. He in charge of building airport, hospital, health center, fire station, community center, every sports stadium, all of them, President's House, Red House, Prime Minister residence in Tobago. He building everything in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, they give he to fix the stadium too. But Udicot also, hey Udicot, there are no money for your children. There are no money to develop the athletes. So we going to host a game, spend over $100 million or more to host a Commonwealth Games to get licks. Because you didn't take the money to make sure we young athletes are well prepared in the 7 sports that are going, to ensure that they get the training, the food, the nutrition, the sports science, the competition that they need, so that when we host, the reason countries host games is to promote their brilliance through their athletes. So all you're spending money on concrete and whoever could get kickback, but not on the athletes, but you want to host. And Shampa said I sports tourism. But on top of that now, they have no money for your fuel subsidy. They have no money for poor people. They cut in a one-leg man, say they cut the food card and the grant. They're taking grant from autistic children. They're not paying for the differently able. They take children out of school. They fire people from UTT. They fire in people, they close down Petrotrin. They have no money to pay people. They have no money for school book. They have no money for school, pan in school. Look what they have money for. And all you dip all your finger for that because all you say is black versus Indian. And vote for red. Look what they have money for. You want me to read this all, yeah? Request for proposals for construction of the Ideological flagship building, phase 1. Ideological office for Noel Garcia. They have at least 60 million for a flipping office building for Ideological for Noel Garcia, who's spending $4 billion of your money because Rowley don't believe in corporate governance, but he say UNC thief. He put all his friend and family in lawyer in charge of all your money. He don't have no procurement legislation, he got it. And over 5 years, the procurement regulator contract up, they had no procurement legislation. But Rowley said, them thief. He didn't thief. Just gravel roll from somewhere by he. Just Greenvale just went up because of Rahal land. The Renaissance went up in the sky because of Rahal's son. These things just happen under Rowley. He's not thief. Nah. So they're going and build a Ideological flagship office building. They have money. Or they're going and pay more for Tech rate, but them have money to build a building, an office building. They ain't build no hospital. Look around the savannah there by Holy Name before Holy Name opposite Memorial. About an 8-story building going up, you know what that is? The administrative complex for the health sector. So they could have secretary and thing there. You can't get medicine. You can't get MRI. You can't get dialysis. You go dead in the ICU. But the office building before you're dead, you say, good, the office building, nice boy. Great as the PNM. Oh God, look. I'm going to death, but at least I see a nice air condition. And then here the next one. Let sports feature at first at Skinner Park. Says Regrello. Regrello, you know. You have a video of Regrello there? Show me Regrello now. Because this Regrello fella is the greatest. Something he said the other day. What Regrello say? As we develop southern venues set to reopen, Mayor Regrello urges, let sports feature first at Skinner Park. Right? But Regrello was buffing up people just now. Leave it there, you know. Because they say that people were vandalizing. I know I had something about Regrello. Stalin grave get vandalized. Very bad, terrible. But Regrello, who didn't see who do it, blamed the homeless people. But hear what the mayor, the PNM mayor, hear what he's saying. Black Stalin's grave vandalized. Mayor to set up task force to deal with homeless pests. Homeless pests. The PNM making people move from poor to homeless and then calling them pests. But telling all you, if you're a black pest, vote for them. But if you're an Indian pest, they don't like all you. That's what they tell you, race in politics. That's what douglAr politics is about. Forget the race. If all you could vote on is what your mother and father make you, that means your brain ain't working. Here Regrello, as I say, brain ain't working. This is the damage done by these pests in the society. These people who assemble on the promenade basically for meals. Yes, they're assembling on the promenade for meals because they're hungry. Because your government has whittled away all the resources with recusals, theft, nepotism, no corporate governance, no procurement, no implementation of anything. People have lost their jobs and they're suffering, and you have the audacity to call them pests. But when it's time to vote, you want the pests vote for you? As the saying goes, the devil finds work for idle hands. So in between meals, they become a pest to society. So if 500 people going down on the promenade day to get food, all of them went on and do nonsense? Is all of them? All of them Regrello? All of them PNM? Or is it one or two misguided? Is it a few? And you call them pests? Why you don't deal with the situation? Why you don't have people, you have municipal police, you have people in charge to protect the graves and so on. You have people in charge of managing the society. You cannot manage the society and then ball everybody's pest. The biggest set of pests is PNM. And they're building a big pest nest in Balize House for 120 million. All you wear the bills. Oh, it's donations. Donation, 120 million donation. This must stop, says Regrello. Regrello said 40 to 50 people gather on Harris Promenade daily because the public feeds them between 3 to 5 times a day. So you're blaming the public for feeding them. But anyway, this Regrello is a pan man, eh? So PNM is about pan, the national instrument. PNM. But yet they cut funding for pan from since 2016. Anthony Garcia, former Minister of Sleeping and Education, said that pan, when he went to the Panorama in 2017, he was shocked at the little bit of schools participating. He cut the program, but he was shocked that the number of schools participating went down. But now we hear the Guardian says a setback for pan in schools. In any program for the development and advancement of TNT's young people, a 62% decrease in participation should set off all kinds of alarms. True, Guardian. That is why it's so disconcerting that the public response to the news of the sharp decline in school steelbands participating in this year's National Junior Panorama competition has been so muted. This should not have been allowed to happen in the birthplace of steel pan, especially in the year when this country celebrates the 60th anniversary of Panorama. This year, there are only 17 secondary schools and 11 primary schools taking part in the competition. 3 secondary schools withdrew, and participation by primary schools is so low that the few bands entered in that category have automatically qualified for the finals on January 22nd. This is a sad state of affairs, considering that there are approximately 455 primary schools and 125 secondary schools in this country. It's a sad situation, Guardian, but because you are the guardian of the PNM and Rowley's K-Pax, you never print the truth. You wouldn't understand or realize that by cutting the funding to the Pan in Schools program, which Kamla and Tim Gopi Singh had running from 2010 to 2015, when participation in schools panorama hit records highs and was moving on up, when the PNM came and cut it, you didn't realize that in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, but with the COVID, forget 2021 and 22. And now in 2023, you now realize that participation is down and you are the guardian of democracy. No wonder we have no more democracy. But look right here now. This is where the dishonesty comes in these newspapers, this mass media that Rowley so loves that he only wants to invite them, right? Look where the truth comes. But it's just a piece of the truth. It's not the whole truth. But you know, douglAr politics will give you the whole truth. Here the Guardian, after all of this, hear what they say now. Until it came to a halt, steel pan education seemed to be on the right track, with the Multicultural Music Program Unit, MMPU, evolving from what was formerly the Ministry of Education's Pan in the Classroom Project Unit. This year, unfortunately, severe cutbacks in the operations of the MMPU have left schools unable to prepare. Okay, so they print some of the truth there. The real truth is, Kamla, the Indian lady, you see they like to bring race into it, yes? If she Indian, she supposed to like more tassa and tabla and thing, right? Not pan. Never mind it as Samaru jets and so on. Kamla, the Indian lady, with Tim Gopi Singh, the Indian Minister of Education, created that unit and funded it fully and got pan equipment teachers into schools across Trinidad and Tobago. The PNM under Keith Rowley, the Black Man Party, right? The Black Man Party on the golf course, yes, all the black people out there, of course, and art galleries, all my black brothers who go to look at art with a sandals on. Yes, Rowley's the black. No, he's not an Oreo. He's a black man, a proud black man. He cut funding for the pan, but the Guardian will not print the truth that the funding was increased under Kamla Prasad and the UNC, and it was going in the right direction under Tim Gopi Singh and Kamla of the UNC. And then the PNM Rowley came in and cut it, and now the Guardian has to write an editorial that pan is dying in schools because of the PNM. PNM is a virus. PNM is poison. And it's only private elite schools that doing the PAN. PAN is a grassroots thing. PAN is a national thing. Them boys from Lavanti create the PAN. Them boys, the Hammer and them, all of them. But look what PNM turned PAN in. The private schools putting the money, parents paying the thing. And look at this, Naparima. Big PAN performance. Look in the Newsday here. Sweet PAN, a young member of Naparima Combined Steel Orchestra, gets a sugar rush. Sweet PAN. I said that Indian, you know. See how the douglAr can talk? Because the douglAr is half pure Indian and half pure African, and I love African and Indian equally, so I see no race. But I said a bright Indian playing PAN. But all you say PAN is a black man thing. PNM said vote because them look like you, them black. And they suffer the PAN. But another private school, Bishop's Anstey, brilliant school, right? What's them? An Anglican school, denominational, not government school, where Tim Gopi Singh and Kamla was pumping the PAN and pumping art and pumping culture and pumping sport. Look how brilliant they are. This should be in all schools. Play it and turn it up loud and let the people hear a little thing, man.
Somebody save us, I'm still.
And on top of that, I tell you that my favorite guy so of all time, the late Lord Explainer Lauren, Bishop Anstey girls, the teachers, the girls, the support, the love, the vibe, the brilliance, the arrangement, the excellence, the intelligence, the camaraderie, the teamwork. That is what PAN, that is Trinidad and Tobago, and that's what the PNM don't understand. They kill the PAN. That should be in every school, every government school, from Point 14, Palo Seco, across the Mayaro, up the Matlot, across the East-West Corridor, coming down into the center by Cuba, Carpet, China. It should be all over, because when you play PAN, when you play music also, brain connects to the schoolwork, better results. We fail in SEA, we fail in game, we doing worse in CSEC, the whole Caribbean meeting, we matching, we failing in everything. They cut game, everything, because the PNM does not care anyone about crime. But the Anglican schools, the denominational schools, the Hindu school, the Muslim school, the private schools, they're doing it and the children excelling. But anywhere PNM touch, PNM is a virus and a poison. And Guardian, you all are a poison because you cannot talk the truth. That Kamla and Tim Gopi Singh push PAN. Look at this. Look at the beauty. As we move from PAN, we talk Calypso too. Calypso is very serious. But I see the Newsday editorial now saying Calypso woes. But the United National Congress has been telling you all that since Joe Newell and the PNM start to buy out Calypsonian and turn Calypsonian into sprangers like Crow, who on Stalin Death went down on the promenade in Sando and sing the most disgusting Calypso because Crow is a disgusting racist clown, and I tell him Anil say so. Crow, when you was in 2001 and PNM wasn't giving you no work and thing, and you was crying by Woodford Square in your Royal Saloon or your Super Saloon in the Trong, and they had to bring Joe Nude outside to hug you up and tell you to give you something. You go on and sing a song about sugar aloes, gargling testicles and all kind of thing. But in your song, you realize that you are the Calypso prostitute. You are the Calypso hoe. Because you say, when UNC in power, you suck salt. But when PNM day, you get thing. That is not Calypso. So PNM give you CPEP work, CPEP contract. You get money from PNM. So you write Calypso good about PNM. That is Calypso hoeing, crow, you big dunce. You don't even understand. Calypso is what Stalin do. Whoever in government, whoever, whether PNM, NAR, UNC, sing the truth, be the newspaper, be the voice of the voiceless. That is Calypso. Crow, you, Joe Newell, and all you kill Calypso and turn it into a PNM show. That is when the 10 start a bus. But do you know? The news, they only realized that in 2023 when Calypso dead and gone. Imagine it have thing to sing about. How bundles in the cabinet, she have it in an uproar. Bundles horning one minister with the prime minister and all you write nothing about that. How Kangaroo reach where the village ram is. How Rowley eating corn chips in Tobago, sharing woman dipping the hand. All of these things, you want me write this, the Kaiser for all you what? Where small pin, how Asha Javid read upside down, all you want to write nothing. Where the money gone, where the Chinese contract come from when Rowley was the minister, Petrotrin gone, 4 divers dead in a pipe, all you write nothing. Because all you waiting to see who go give all you a little dust from the PNM. That is why Calypso dead. All you can only sing about Oma Pandey and Indian, but you're not singing nothing about African. So you take the Calypso art form, prostitute it into a PNM Balize House party group, and then want to know why you don't make money. Here the Newsday, as Judy Raymond gone now, and Judy Raymond, she's the editor who liked to write about Rowley, because Rowley could gishi what Kamla could never gishi. Kamla don't have the biology to gishi what Rowley gishi. You understand? Addressing Calypso woes, says the Newsday. Diva's Calypso 10 manager Rudolph Otley was the first 10 manager to publicly lament the private sector's lack of interest in supporting Calypso for the 2023 carnival season. Oh, you now lamenting that? What the private sector go want to do, investing in a product that is not universal, that does not speak to all Trinbagonians, that cannot sell a ticket, that nobody want to come in, that Indians don't want to go in the tent anymore because the Calypso turned to a political racist rant of stupid ignorance. Mr. Otley acknowledged general disinterest by the public in attending Calypso. Exactly. Calypso shows during the season and the significant preference for soca, yes? Because at least you go jam on Dorothy and enjoy yourself, not listen to a set of nonsense and lies. Calypso's brilliance was the truth, the newspaper of the people. Once you take away the truth, Calypso is dead. Who go pay to hear a lie? You go pay to get lie? Calypso tents have been on life support for years, with much of the funding that keeps them going coming directly from the government. You didn't analyze that. You didn't analyze when that happened. You didn't analyze the Joe Newell years. You didn't go and ask the Joe Newell Scholarship Fund that PNM was handing out money for dunces to study who could not even complete their law degree. And then they end up in the Senate talking about, he told us to go and scratch. I don't even know she name. What's she name? Lazama Leasing. $500,000 scholarship bursary under the PNM secret scholarship fund and could not even pass the exam. And that is a senator and a big heifer in the PNM. The PNM promotes stupidity and dotishness, and then all you want to wonder why everything don't work. Their rosters and those misjudgments, including ejecting a new generation of increasingly popular soca singers from their rosters and conflating race with politics, insulting half their potential audience. You now starting to write a little bit about the truth. It happening since 2002, but you're now 21 years later talking Calypso dead because PNM kill it. Let's capture, teach life stories of our heroes, says the Guardian. Well, Archie, you're going to love this one. This one, I'm going to frame this one. Guardian editorial, Friday, January 6th. All you don't mind are coming to Sukaya, coming to Kangaloo and things just now, it have plenty things to talk, don't frighten. Let's capture and teach life stories of our heroes, says the Guardian newspaper. Keep it in mind, it's Guardian newspaper, Thomas. We are witnessing in our times the passing of several outstanding contributors to national life, and we do so on occasions with extended celebrations and are not short in our praise for the individuals. However, the question remains, are those recognitions and instant celebrations enough? We believe the answer is decidedly not, since in a wink we turn our attention elsewhere. As international athletes Rodney Wilkes, Wendell Motley, Hazley Crawford, Jean Pierre, and Brian Lara, what can they pass on to another generation from their accomplishments against the world's best? The TNT Guardian is here proposing on Friday, January 6, 2023. The Trinidad and Tobago Guardian is proposing we go beyond instant praise and awards, and we seek to institutionalize the life works of those who have contributed to our advancement as people. Not simply to establish museums to collate, display, and honor the work of individuals, but to create life-teaching institutions to distill and display learning experiences to the present generation and those to come. Why and how our standout individuals succeeded, that work must start in the present. Really, Guardian? Well, Guardian, back between 2010 and 2014, there's a Minister of Sport called Anil Roberts, and he sent out a request for proposals for the archives, the National Sporting Archives. And a gentleman called Mr. Valentino Singh. Wait, Guardian, you all should know that name. Valentino Singh was the sport editor of The Guardian for decades. One of the greatest sports writers and editors in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. He won the proposal, and the government, the Ministry of Sport, was funding Valentino Singh and a team of researchers to create a national archives and database of all our national sporting heroes, their stories, their teachings, their writings, to collate it, to then disseminate it to schools and to put it online and in analysis and so on. That was going on. And then Keith Rowley went in the parliament and lied about emails that were not emails. Call an election, the EBC tell PNM they have an extra hour but didn't tell UNC. And Keith Christopher Rowley, the biggest Oreo lying, miscreant, narcissist, ornament to ever sit in a prime ministerial chair, became prime minister, and he cut the funding to the National Archives, Sporting Archives, through his then Minister of Sport, Darrell Smith, while Rowley was fornicating with Darrell Smith's wife. No, I have to throw in that because it's the truth. Ask Darrell Smith what he was. Tell him, show all the WhatsApps. Hey, Rowley, look me here, send me a letter from a pre-action protocol that you were telling them you did not fornicate with Darrell Smith's wife while he was a junior minister in your cabinet. You're sicko. And only you vote for that clown. But Guardian, aren't you aware that this was being done under Kamala, under Anil, under the United National Congress since 2010, 11, 12, 13, 14? And in 2015, September and October, the PNM cut the funding for that. But you come with your bright ideas 13 years after Kamala. Guardian, you all are sick. And that's why our country is a failed state, because the fourth estate is the fourth rental whole house. You understand? But they always sell all their soul. Potholes has worse roads to be fixed, because the fixing road in Santa Cruz. Well, Rohan, go down. Point 14, Labre, go down in Princess Town, go down in Naparima, go down in Gasparillo, go Tabaquit, go Mayaro, go up in Valencia, all over the country. Look at road, run the thing. Will you feel 2 patch and 2 picture and you doing a good job, Rohan? Really? But forget you's the only honest Indian, and Rohan? They find the next one, Rishi Sukai. I'm coming to deal with either. They are 2 honest Indian now, and right. Ministry moves to protect investment in roads. Rohan blaming Wasa. They see blaming overweight truck. Like it's only now since the PNM in power. Everybody lost weight because we hungry, we can't buy food. Food price inflation, people lost their work. But the truck and them get heavier, Rohan says, so it mashing up the road. Not lack of maintenance, not lack of dredging the river mouth, not flooding, not leaks of Wasa. Rohan now come to blame Wasa and the minister Wasa, who in the same cabinet sitting down to he. Rohan, when you're in the cabinet, lean over close to the minister man. Whisper sweet nothings in his ears. Because the media won't tell you that under Kamla Prasad Bisesa, since 2010, when Jack Warner was the Minister of Works and Transport, and eventually when Ganga Singh was the Minister, or whoever was the Minister of Public Utilities at that time, whether George or Ganga, and Suraj Rambachan was Works, and it moved, whatever combination, Kamla Prasad Bisesa had both teams working together. So Wasa will go and try to fix their leaks first, and then Works and Transport will come after. It's called intelligence. It's called management. It's called planning. That's what Kamla had. That's why you didn't see this sort of devastation in the roads. Now you have Rohan and Minister of Man. The Minister of Man who spends more time looking into a tinted van to see which man driving the van. And when the wrong man driving the van, he gets very upset and wants them fired and tries to tell an investigator to change the story because he has an emotional pain, something hurting him about that man driving that van. This Minister of Man. Great is the PNM. Hey, they get Sukai too. Sukai, you're fitting nice here, boy, Sukai. I come in to do with you. Richie, I come in, don't worry. And then now, when we talking about PNM, the RIC is supposed to protect all you. The RIC is supposed to be independent. The media is supposed to be independent, the media is PNM. The police commission, police service commission is supposed to be independent, them is PNM. Blessy Prasad. The president is supposed to be independent. Paula May we thought was independent. Rowley whisper sweet nothings in she ears. She tremble, get goosebumps and tell Bliss, break the law, breach section 123(4) of the Constitution. And the police service commission collapsed. Trinidad and Tobago still up to now without a substantive commissioner. 614 murder in 1 year. And a pumpsity narcoleptic rasta telling me he doing his best. But he can't even stay awake while he talking. But here this one, this was the greatest now. So the PNM tell you, hey, if you can't get US and your children outside in university and you can't get US here because they crash the economy, no foreign direct investment, they shut down Petrochin and there's no US available here, that you, the people, are stupid for sending their children outside to educate themselves because you can't buy US. Not that them notice because them making US unavailable. They tell you, if you can't afford the gas, cooking coal pot. If you can't afford gas in your car, ride a bike. The big fat man Scotland can't even fit on a bike. He tell all you about he riding bike. And they take picture with he filling up. And look how slim all you make him look archy. But you're making him look good for the minister, man. Or what you trying to do? DouglAr politics not about. We don't encourage that. Anyway. But here this one. Shampa say all you don't want to sacrifice. The Paula Gopiskun says she does drive a reasonably expensive car. They said the minister man tell you, don't go movie tongue 2 and 3 times a week. Don't eat ham and don't eat macaroni. All you don't need to eat grass. That's what the PNM tell all you. Hear this one. He not supposed to be a PNM, eh? But hear this man from the RIC yesterday. Archie, let him hear it. You know that? Well, we go have it. You have it on douglAr politics. You go find it. The RIC, what the man saying about air condition is a luxury. But we go find that. But the education minister, Minister Bundles, She's proud of the achievements in 2022. The highest fail rate in SEA. Half the children get less than 50%. 1,000 children get 0. 9,000 of them were supposed to take remedial classes in the summer holidays. Only 2,364 turn up. 2,000 children during the COVID thing disappear offline. The school in a total mess. More fight and chopping in the schools than ever before. Teachers getting beat, cuffed, rubbed, battered. Boys getting kicked in the back of the neck, nearly breaking the neck. At Cape, worst results in the history of Trinidad. CSEC, worst results. Lowest enrollment in tertiary education in the last 15 years. But she proud. She proud. Because she have the cabinet upside down between Foster and Rowley. Bacchanal. She proud of that. Pack the man thing in a garbage bag. When the douglAr bust his story, he bring him back the garbage bag and unpack it, yes? Yeah, you see, and he wouldn't even call the douglAr and say thanks. Teachers storm out in St. Joseph. The Alsing cannot be found. The new school mash up and derelict. The old school, children, teachers cannot even survive in it. But Sagicor had to come in and adopt 6 schools. Imagine corporate citizens. The PNM is so inept and incompetent that Sagicor had to adopt 6. Thank you, Sagicor. All right? It shouldn't be your job, but we appreciate that. Government to plan initiatives based on Justice Jones' report. Let me take off my glasses for this one. Y'all know what the Justice Jones report is? Well, David Nackett had made noise when some boys had escaped from a home and 2 of the boys were found murdered. And in that investigation and statement given to the police by David Nackett, it was told that some boys were being used in a very sexual manner, disgusting. I can't talk about it. In a disgusting manner. And the boys' deaths were questionable. And David Nackett from the United National Congress made such a stink. They had to go and put an investigation into the Children's Authority. And the PNM eventually did that. They put a Judith Jones committee. They took a few months to investigate and so on and came out and compiled a report and delivered it to Keith Rowley and Ayanna Webster Roy on December 13th, 2021. We now in January going into February 2023. Now let me remind you what that report had in it. The report exposed that children were being raped, that boys were being buggered, that children were being battered and abused, that they were being abused by cigarettes being outed on their skin. They were being verbally and physically abused and battered, whether in the night, during the day, they were being punished. They were being starved and not given food and rations and so on. This is what was inside that report. Delivered to Keith Christopher Nasty. Let me tell you something, I ain't cuss on douglAr politics yet, but when it comes to children, when you have a man who does put up Christmas picture with only inside children and leave the outside children as if nobody here make them, that is not a man. That is a miscreant. That is a mama pool. That is a real... When you lie with a human being like that, my mother always tell me, if you make it, mind it, that yours, inside, outside, all around. Now, luckily, I behave good on the outside, so I only have from the inside. But that's irrelevant. Outside, inside, Rowley just tell all you, look, my inside, he only minding the inside. But yet police had been stopped by Victoria Keys all the time. Yet a lady had to go and mind her own child because she was a girl of school age back in 1969 when Rowley was a teacher. And he have a son on the outside called Gata Lane. And he ain't playing that, but all you elect that. All you elect that labas to the office of Prime Minister and then telling me respect that. Fire burn all you boy. Respect who? Fire burn Rowley. Let Rowley tell me why he pick on Moonilal. Because Indian don't like fight. Why you don't tell me about go out on the pavement? If you go out and step out, I say don't even wait on the pavement. I jump right here because that camera, we go film the fight. Talking about threatening Wade Mark with P-I-E-C-E. Hey Rowley, threaten me with P-I-E-C-E now. Come now man. And you're bad. So this report, you get the RIC thing? After this, let me go on a heated thing here. We go come back to the RIC. So they have this report with children being raped and buggered by those in charge of them, being paid by the government to rape and bugger the children. It's a year and 2 months later. Let me read for you where the PNM, the caring PNM, let's see where they reach. Because some of your face opening up. Because if Kamala Prasad Bissessa was there, from before she would not need no Judy Jones report, from the time they went, I can say, but something they Children Authority, she as the Prime Minister would have get in there, send police, send army, send DPP, send investigators, send protectors, send security, put lights, put CCTV camera within 2 days. That is Kamala. This is 14 months after a Prime Minister receives a report of children being buggered and raped. Let's see the urgent action that the PNM has taken 14 months after. Government to plan initiatives based on Justice Jones' report. The Gender and Child Affairs Division has engaged in discussions with key stakeholders to pursue several initiatives outlined in the work plan recommendations of the Justice. So them still talking, them still planning, just like 4 men, 5 men went down in a pipe. 1 man struggle and come out. Promise he brethren them are coming back, are coming back. Are coming back Kazim. Are coming back Rishi Nagasa. Are coming back Yusuf. Are coming, are going for help. The man scramble and get out the pipe. Tell the PNM and them, hey, the brethren them alive. Get them, go for them. And the PNM and them leave the men there for 39 hours. To slowly suffocate and dead. And all you want to justify that with politics? Politics really that important? Really? And now 14 months later, the PNM, children now, that was adult men that they left there to dead. Now we talking about children. 14 months later, they are boasting that they've read the report, they discussed it. They're now discussing how they're going to plan to eventually implement the safeguards for the children who are still in the hands of the rapists and the buggerers. Let's let that soak in. Let that soak in. But just to go back before we go forward. That's their attitude, because they may care about all you. If all you have no money, cooking coal pot, ride bike, don't go movie tongue, don't eat ham, don't eat macaroni. And on top, this man had to be a PNM because he fit in that vein. This is a man who's supposed to be on the independent RIC. Mr. Glenn Khan, you know, he's telling all you, if you have air condition in a hot tropical climate, use a bourgeois, use a big Sawati. I can't make, the douglAr can't make up this. Actually play.
If your bill is 300, you're using about 700 kilowatt hours. And that's a lot of electricity. For any small man, no small man uses that amount of electricity.
Really?
You have to have air conditioning in your house to be using 700 kilowatts. So that is not the average citizen.
Okay.
That's not the average citizen. If you have air condition, you make it, you rich under the PNM, what? Once you are using a Lasco, you rich. What? Yes, great is the PNM. All your wine, all your flipping head and vote for them. Procurement regulator 5-year term has ended. The Guardian put this on what page? Page 12 news. A procurement regulator is a man to stop politicians from thieving your money, right? He had a work under the PNM for 5 years, and the PNM did not proclaim the law to allow him to check them from thieving your money, and his contract up. So he get 60 months salary. He now going and collect gratuity lump sum, and he ain't work a day yet because the PNM in charge, and they calling other people thief. Amazing. Now Rowley decides who could go into press conference and big joke and laugh. But Matt, you're complaining because media getting thrown out by Rowley. But Matt, you create Rowley. Ira Matur, you are the president of Matt. Well, Asha Javid fall out with you. Well, two PNM fight, like two big PNM car battle in the same house. But Matt became a PNM party group when Rowley and Smallpin attacked Curtis Williams, a reporter just printing the truth in the most vile manner, bullying them for Matt has said nothing. Rowley could do what you want. Now Matt, you asking Rowley, telling him to give you a policy on who could come. Rowley could do what the hell he want. Rowley control the president. He going and put a kangaroo day Friday so he could control the EBC, the Auditor General, the Teaching Service Commission, the Public Service Commission, the Integrity Commission, where he should be under investigation for breaching all sections of the Integrity in Public Life Act by not filling out his Form B with his Inez Gate property and on his Form A putting false information and not declaring a profit or a benefit of $468,000. He didn't declare it. All you lock up Pandey in jail because his wife didn't tell him he had an account there. Pandey get locked up not for no corruption and thieving and thing, you know, because he didn't know his wife had an account. He didn't put it on the form. Rowley didn't put the house that he buy on the form. Why Rowley not lock up? Because what? He controlled the commissioner of police because he selected the commissioner of police through the president breaching the constitution and Blissy Prasad, who was on a PNM CDA board and an independent police service commission, and another commissioner, Kewal Singh, was buying Porsche from the sitting attorney general but ain't pass no check and the car air transfer for 5 years, but the law say you must transfer a car in 2 weeks or else you get charged. But PNM 5 years is shorter than 2 weeks. You see? Them change time and all in Trinidad and Tobago. Amazing. So media, you now worrying about who could come in? Rowley put Rhoda Barrett. Me and him know Rhoda Barrett was a douglAr. She's so hate Indian. I watch it and then I said, wait, but she name is Barrett. The amount of vile nastiness she's talk about Indian people in Trinidad and Tobago. But Rhoda Barrett could have been COVID-19. What more media she is? And she being paid by NLCB. What was the process there? Was it the job advertised? Was the job that was created for Rhoda Barrett taking the cabinet? Did it go to PMCD to fix salary and perks and position? Was it approved? Was it advertised? Did Rhoda Barrett beat out other people for that position she had for the last 6 or 7 years? But she is a journalist. But you're throwing out Robert Aman, who you want, and ACP News and so on. But Rowley is a dictator, but you all like it so. Because you get a little contract, or you get a little brief, or your senior counsel. Imagine being so intelligent, so disciplined that you go through A-levels and things, mash up, university mash up, law school, LLB mash up, maybe masters you get in. You do your little internship in law firm, mash up, become a senior counsel. Well, that you have to have a little political thing, but yeah, but still plenty of all have good track record. And you got plenty money. You're air conditioned, so according to Glenn Khan, you're big in the dance. You're a senior counsel. You make children and thing, and you still have to lick Bamsi to get brief. All you have no shame. Eh? All you go in the grave with all your tongue out still. All you really have no sort of testicular fortitude. So all your brain is useless because you have to sell all your brain, your character to Balise House to tell Rowley great is the PNM in order to get some flipping brief. All you watch all yourself in the mirror. So Matt, Fireburn all here, Ira Matur, PM only invited mainstream media. Yes, we know you want to only invite mainstream media because Guardian is PNM. Newsday, Judy Raymond is PNM. Well, she gone now, but Newsday now looking for editor. I'm going to apply for that work Newsday. I'm going to apply for the editor work. Express is PNM, TV6, CNC3. So you only want to invite mainstream media. But here the Guardian, wrong call by the Prime Minister on the mat. But then these two editorials with the Newsday and so questioning media access. This editorial, I'm not going through it with all you now, but just to say, it's the most contradictory piece of drivel I've ever read. Within this, which must be less than 800 words, they changed their position and contradicted themselves at least 3 times. They don't know what is press freedom. They so are beholden to Rowley. They conflagrating press freedom with prime ministerial choice, and then trying to compare Trinidad and Tobago to the US. The US population 330 million, 50 states, about 300 media houses, mass media houses. So the USA can't have everybody from Alaska to Florida, down to Wyoming and South Dakota going up in Washington in a press conference. So they put, the pool is NBC and all the affiliates, they'll have a rep, and CBS and Fox and so on. You know them comparing that to Rowley. Rowley with TV6, USC3 and TTT, with Express News, The Guardian, Sunshine, and don't want others inside. That's so big, but they spend 200 million, they pay them on a palace with a room big. It could host the media 10 times. But no big thing. Antigua and Barbuda having elections, you know. Commonwealth observers for Antigua and Barbuda election. London. The Commonwealth Secretariat Friday announced that former Seychelles President Danny Faure will lead a 6-member team of Commonwealth election observers to Antigua and Barbuda for the January 18th election. Did we have international election observers while we have an EBC that is headed by the niece of a former sitting PNM minister and the best friend of the deputy political leader now of the PNM, the Minister of Bundles, who fornicates wildly inside of the cabinet? Her best friend is now in charge of EBC. Do you think that the lady who is in charge of the EBC, Fern, Narcissus, Scope, St. Augustine girls, they were like this, 2 peas in a pod? They linemen now, they went function, pick hair together and thing. Don't you think that someone who is so friendly with one girl that she brethren, that she would prefer her brethren to win in a competition if she is the referee? Why Argentina didn't put all their own referee in the World Cup final against France? Because there's something called fairness, equity, even playing field. But that's what passes at the EBC. And Rowley lie and say that the Commonwealth observers had no money. Remember that? And earlier, when he get catch lying and Kamala show earlier he lie, the media leave him. No observers, EBC, and in 6 marginals, all the votes come out 9,450, 9,457, 9,435, that's amazing. Over 67 irregularities in the marginal constituencies. No international observers, no CARICOM observers, and the media said, go Rowley, go. Now all you worry that he don't want all any press conference? Fire burn all you, stay out. 4,000 flood grant applications received. 90 checks distributed, says Donna Cox. And she give back Django the outfit, you know. I ain't see the outfit again. She give it back. She ain't giving out no flood check, but she give back Django the outfit. I could guarantee all you that. 90 checks given out. We know, because we on the ground, at least 260,000 people affected by the flood. Only 4,000 people apply for the grant, because to apply for the grant, you have to dig out your navel string, put your fingerprint, tell them where your blood type, where your bank account, how much girl you had, who's your honor woman. They want to know everything. So people say, look, me, I'm bothering with that. But the 4,000 people who bothered, only 90 get checked. I wonder if they hand out them check in Bally's house. Rowley say, not me and flood politics. Me ain't going and take no picture with nobody pushing me in a boat and think playing flood politics. But he take picture with Pro-Man. He take picture with BBTT. He take picture with Shell. He take picture, he take a whole video when he and Smallpin went and procure a vessel with 1.5 billion all your dollars. He take picture with big business, but not to help poor people in flood, the people who vote for him. He said, nah, not me and that. But here the Express, at age 73, finally Express, you're waking up, you're trying to print the truth in between. You ain't getting no pips from me because you all are shameless. At age 73, it is probably too late to expect Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to change either his personality or his politics, especially when they have taken him to the pinnacle of his political position, not once but twice. No, they didn't. That his attitude didn't take him nowhere. The gerrymandering, the control of the EBC, the COVID-19 lockdown and 35,000 people not there, the control of the EBC by the PNM, the corruption, the no observers, the racial politics, the media bias, that is what assisted Rowley to reach where he is. Not Rowley, but no big thing. However, it takes a pretty warped view of the society for a leader to believe that showing up in person for the thousands enduring the misery of last November's extreme flooding would have been to play flood politics. We find this, says the Express, reasoning for pulling a no-show during the country's worst natural disaster in years to be an elaborate rationalization for behavior that has otherwise a simple explanation. We have to wonder if Dr. Rowley even knows this country at all. You can't be quoting Black Stalin and not recognize the truth and wisdom of his words. But Rowley didn't even attend Black Stalin funeral. He sent a message. An icon like Black Stalin, great legend, who's now liming with Sprangalang up there in heaven, a special VIP section. Rowley didn't say that. He sent Fitzgerald Hines and Penelope Gone Quiet Beckles and all them PNM to pretend that them love Black Stalin. 85% of Black Stalin lyrics was against PNM oppression because PNM was the party in power for 49 out of the 60 years. Black Stalin didn't like either side. Black Stalin liked the people. Black Stalin sing tune of truth. And all your PNM try to hijack the man funeral. Well, you're really shameless. Or they're even trying to thief love of a dead man. PNM, your shame has no bounds. We have to wonder with Black Stalin, right? And they go on to say sufferers don't care about color, sufferers don't care about race. That's very true. Not for the first time, says the Express. We believe it is necessary to say to the Prime Minister that if he would see the country and its people as they are, he would not misjudge them in this way. Well, Express, he cannot see the people as they are because the mass media of which you are part, Express, during 2010 to 2015, you had Asha Javid as your #1 political investigative journalist. And you did not even investigate who she was lying down with, because she was making children with John Jeremy, former PNM Attorney General, while horning he with Stuart Smallpin Young, the now super PNM minister in the office of the Prime Minister. Now me and mine who she love up, don't get me wrong, you can love up who the hell you want. But a journalist must not be biased, and there must not even be apparent bias. Do you think that a woman who's in love with only 2 of the red team could write fairly, analyze information fairly, and do investigative journalistic pieces against the yellow team? No. She could go and write features on soca and entertainment and them fashion and them thing. Go and do that. But you're disqualified because of your biased position. It's a simple principle, Express. But you allow Rowley to do what he wants. So don't tell him about how he know the people. Rowley never knew the people. Rowley never cared about the people. Rowley is an Oreo long time. The last time Rowley was black was when he come out the mother. When he come out the mother, woman cried, ah, as he get his slap, he turn Oreo. Like the doctor who slap him must be a black man. So he hate that. That is Rowley. That is Rowley of the golf course. Rowley of the Goodwood Park parties with the fellas with the cigar, he brethren them calling him, look my end. Prime Minister. That's how them the street he, and he think that's cool, skin in the plate. Anytime he had a talk, he talk down to black people. You all now know that about Rowley. Food prices jumped 13.80% in November. 45% food price increase between 2015, Kamala, and now 45%, and your salary gone down. No increase for all you under PNM. Dip your finger, go ahead, dip all your finger where you want me say. And here comes Paula Gopiscoon. Paula has tried to leave you out, you know, but you just beg for licks. Paula, you come to blame the groceries and them. You come to blame the business people. You ain't blaming Rohan and your government for not dredging the river mouth, and anytime it drizzle, it flood out. You ain't blaming the lack of drainage, the collapsing roads, the lack of making box drains, the lack of maintenance. You ain't blaming that your government in charge of. You ain't blaming the lack of agricultural policy, the no increase in the acreage of cultivated lands in Trinidad and Tobago for 7 years. You ain't blaming the lack of assistance to the farmers with chemicals. You ain't blaming the lack of development of access roads and water, irrigation for the farmers. No help to farmers, no help to suppliers, nothing going on. No foreign direct investment for 4 years. NGC make a loss, shut down a petrotrin, no foreign exchange, increased cost of doing business. That's the supplier's fault, that's the government fault. All you have no shame, all you done PNM, all you collapsing everything, then blame somebody else. That's like me blaming you for the ocean pelican. That has nothing to do with you. You understand? Hey, look the Guardian. Christine will make a perfect people's president. Front page, Guardian. I can't make this up, you know. Well, when I see that, what day this was, boy? Sunday, Guardian, boy. That's when Guardian is get ready most, you know. They're always in last place. They perennial last place. Them like they like licks. They never cross 17,000 papers per day. Now they down to about 12,000. But Sunday paper is get about 14,000. Sunday paper. Christine will make a perfect people's president. Front page. Why? But who said that? I said that can't be she husband. Because he end up running down the honor woman, and sweet red man BT for horning he with the honor woman straight down in tongue. All the woman give all that story. In real, I'll give all that story. So it couldn't even be he. Because he and Aldo feel she gonna make the perfect nothing, because then he wouldn't have tried to fight the man for the honor woman. Right? And get a licks. Imagine you trying to defend your honor woman chastity and get a cut ass. Eh? And he gonna be the first man in the president. Oh Lord, he come out and say, I was always Mr. Christine Kangaloo. When you find out that, before the cutters or after the cutters? That's what you don't want to know. When did you realize that you is Mr. Christine Kangaloo? When you find the sweet red man with your girl and he beat you all down the road, or before that? Was it the cutters that make you sit down good and say, yes, well, I better be myself and be Mr. Christine Kangaloo? The douglAr asking you, Mr. First Man. Minister man go like, or he go come plenty function. When I go inside the papers now, because I want to know who said that. You know, is she in-laws? Former Minister of Education Anthony Garcia, PNM. No joke, you know. This is what the mass media does. The whole country is saying it is anti-constitutional. It is not independent. It is wrong to put a card-carrying PNM recruit of Rowley in President's house. It goes against all the principles, separation of powers, against democracy. It goes against everything. Every right-thinking person says that. But the Guardian come to tell the nation she gonna make a great people's president. Because she father-in-law and mother-in-law say so. That's why Rowley won the mass media only. And then the Express write a whole editorial. Christine Kangaloo, a safe choice. She has made no political enemies. As a minister, she's very creative and brilliant. I'm asking all you what ministry she was in. What years? What she do? And she make political enemies, or for true? Really? How you determine that? How you investigate that? On what scale? What survey you do to get that information? That's what the media does. To let you all stay calm and let Rowley do the wrong thing and carry us into a pure, unadulterated dictatorship. But, shh, it a brief to get. Shh. It's a contract, it's a catering, it's a contract, it's a construction. Shh. All you go get things. Yeah, leave it so. An opportunity for our MPs and senators, says Denise Deming. Now, Denise Deming, I don't know if she's still a PNM, but she was a PNM. And she was head of the whatever the TDC board of the tourism was now. And something went on, and she resigned. But she never told us exactly what went on. So you see, Denise Deming, you are part of the problem. Because had you spoken the truth of what happened that made you resign, what irked you so much, what went against your morals, your ethics, and your values, that you resigned your PNM chairmanship position at that tourism board. You see, you never said anything. So you're writing now one thing, I read it, but it hits me as a bit vacuous. Because you did not have the testicular fortitude to do what's right for the country. So when you didn't do it, you calling on other people to do it. You see, you still didn't apologize to me. But when they make all these allegations about Anil and LifeSport and so on, even though not one specific allegation against Anil, family, girl, nothing. But I did the right thing. I say, if all you say so, I will resign and let the chips fall where they may. Investigation, audit, everything go through. And I will clear my name from all these useless allegations and come back. But I also resign my seat, which I did not have to do. Because nobody could force, or you cannot be fired from an elected member of parliament. But I said, no, let me go. I'll come out of everything. You see, so I could talk because I was there and I did it. Gave up high office, gave up position, even though nobody could move me. Because all you say, even though I know I did nothing, and they could, Rowley and them could spend $1 billion running down Anil. Look, Anil right there. Rowley, why you don't come down here in Marabella? Bring your peace and come, right? So Denise Deming says, there is one possible scenario that could unfold, and that in the use of the secret ballot for the good men and women in our parliament to take the opportunity to vote in the national interests. Call me a naive optimist, ignorant or foolish, but the universe has presented an opportunity for our members of parliament and senators to take a stand, to go off script, and to send the government to search for a candidate who can be elected unanimously by the Electoral College. That sounds good. But you see, when you were in a position to act like this, you did not. You didn't tell us why you resigned as a PNM chairperson of a board. You didn't tell us. So while that's interesting, when Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC was calling for secret ballot, when we called the Electoral College to have a tribunal investigate Keith Rowley's presence at the President's house on August 11, 2021, that intercepted the merit list and forced the public official of the President to breach the Constitution and break the law, and allow Bliss Prasad to remove a list that she had no authority so to do. When we called for an investigation into that, to lead to charges to misbehavior in public office for Rowley, Paula May Weeks, and Bliss Prasad, we called for secret ballot, because how could the independent senators appointed by Paula May be asked to vote against their president? That makes no sense. None of you said and came up when we were saying secret ballot, when we were saying let's debate. Your voices were silent. So don't pick and choose when you want to do things in the national interest. So while I'm happy that you wrote something, you fit in just with your Rowley, you are Rowley Day. It's always political, says Selwyn Cujo. I go leave this one. I will leave. No, I can't leave this one. I have to go long tonight. Selwyn Cujo, Sunday, 15 January 2013. Express. A few days ago, the Prime Minister defended his government's choice of Christine Kangaloo for President of Trinidad and Tobago. He argued that those people who objected to the government's nomination were indulging in nothing but pure politics. There are people in this country who set out deliberately to mislead the country, and I go as far as to say incite the population. That was Rowley's quote. Professor Cujo says, this is an unfortunate position, The Oxford Dictionary describes politics as the activities associated with the governance of a country or area, especially the debate between parties having power. Any debate that revolves around the selection of someone to the highest office of the land invariably involves how power is shared and how that appointment conduces to the deepening of our democracy. The nominee should also be able to contribute to the social coherence of the society. Challenging the suitability of the government or the opposition's candidate for the presidency is neither pure nor polluted politics. It goes to the heart of how we define ourselves as a nation. Citizens should suggest the names of candidates and be given time to discuss the objectives of the office and the qualifications of the candidates. Later on, he continues, when Williams conducted his PNM party school, he perceived the office of the presidency as being independent from the elected arm of the state. He felt the president should, this is Dr. Eric Williams there, all your balize father, the father, all you say of the, let me, I don't even say that. All your prime minister, PNM, balize, man who was in charge when the first constitution was written and the second one, Republican, was penned and approved in parliament. He said, and Professor Kujo was there, very close, side by side, and watching, reading, researching. He said Williams also felt independent senators, those who are selected by the president, should be representatives of civic, religious, and trade union groups, rather than individuals who represented their own views. Since a president cannot negate the mandate of the elected party, he or she should always be ready to defend the rights of the underdog. Williams' motto was always political and social balance. In an insightful article, attorney Kyle Taklal Singh wrote, the person who holds the office of the president must be an exemplar, manifesting unquestionable integrity, strength of character, intelligence, and patriotism. A president is not a placeholder in the republic. He or she is the glue that holds the republic together by virtue of his or her intelligence, probity, intuitiveness, generosity, and knowledge. She or he sets the tone for the nation. He or she must be the voice of the voiceless, the eyes of those who cannot see, and an oasis of calm that stabilizes the nation. The president must ensure that every group, in this case, creed or race, feels that it is included in the social whole, and act as a buffer between the elected representatives and disenfranchised minorities. His or her guiding wisdom should be no equity, no social balance. Isn't that interesting? And we've gone so far from those principles, we can't go further. Rowley appointed, he boasted that he recruited her into politics. There are pictures that will show that he has a very close relationship with her. How close? You have to ask she and ask he. Don't ask me. And she is a PNM member, a PNM appointed senator appointed by Rowley. She was the Senate president appointed by Rowley due to his majority. And now he appoints her, and you all say it's okay, to the presidency. And then PNM, some of you all are even trying to tell us that she could be independent. Why are you trying to convince us of that? Because clearly there's no need for independence if you're appointing a PNM cardholder, or you just don't understand the principles of bias, impartiality, or even apparent bias. If you go and you read the case law, there was a case back in 1920 something where someone just being in the room while a criminal was investigated, the case was turned off and thrown out by the law lords because they said just the mere fact that that person was present presented an apparent bias in the decision making. That's how the standard is. That's how high the standard is. So all you know about a PNM card carrying member who tell all you preach the gospel of the PNM, appointed by the PNM, love the PNM, love Rowley, recruited by Rowley, Balize, all up in she veins, and say that's all right. Well, let's listen to a former independent PNM Senator, Martin Daly. Martin Daly, you know I have no respect for you because you talk a good game, but you're a total clown because you know that, for example, you sat on boards of the RBC Bank, and for many years, your board instructed all clients across this country that when they take a mortgage from RBC, they have to go to your law firm. I tell you from personal experience. I tell them RBC, but here, I have 4 lawyers for free. They can do that. No, you have to go there if you want to get the mortgage. Do you find that's correct? Is that competitive? Is that nation building? Is that equitable? Is that fair, Martin Daly? Plus, every time you write some dribble, no matter what Rowley does, whatever new law he delves to, you always have to write something bad about the UNC. You have not declared your interest. You have worked with Rowley's wife as an attorney for the last 30 years, but you pretend to be an independent, and you swore to be an independent senator. You are not independent. You are a disgrace. But let me read what even the disgrace Martin Daly says. Sadly, however, such reverence is lacking, and our capacity for institutional reform and civility has withered. The politicians to whom we entrust the exercise of the power of the state on our behalf consistently and gravely devalue non-aligned human resources and scorn proposals not aligned to their own. They are not content to reject an ideal or proposal with a reasoned counter-argument. Denigration is immediately deployed. But that's you. No matter what argument is put forward, you always have to stick in some nonsense about Kamla or the UNC not being viable and so on without any factual basis. So you're writing about yourself. Look in the mirror. Oh, your eyes might not be working so good now. Now, why you didn't write about this? Because this has gone quiet. The Express newspaper said that this was the biggest scandal and that the independent institutions must act. The DPP, the Commissioner of Police, the police must act on this Nelson Gate affair because it was a breach of untold proportion. That was the Express. But now they've gone quiet. Leave it so. Let Rowley, it have money to make. It have ad to sell. It have full page ad. It have thing. Only leave it quiet. But Munilal brought another interesting perspective. Because the president also has the power to pardon. Run it, Archie.
And most importantly of all, brothers and sisters of the press, I bring this to you now. Look at this power of the president for the purposes of giving pardons. Giving a pardon. Look at this. Look at this power to give a pardon. It is section 87, 88, I believe, of the Constitution. My junior counsel will give me that book immediately to point out. Thank you, counsel. 87, the president may grant to any person a pardon, free, subject to lawful conditions, etc., etc. Again, no need to read it out and so on. The president gives this pardon on the advice of who? Minister National Security Fitzgerald Hines, Attorney General Reginald Amor, well, DPP, although the Judicial and Legal Service appoint that too, and other members appointed by the president. So, anyone is concerned that there's a person named Vincent Nelson with a civil matter in the court now against the government, who has said that he's prepared to give testimony against political opponents of the PNM, namely Ramdeen and Ram Logan, if they pay him and grant him a presidential pardon. We are asking the question today. Is it that the first order of business of President Christine Kangaloo, assuming she is the president of this country, is it her first order of business to grant a presidential pardon to Vincent Nelson, clearing the way for the withdrawal of that civil action against the government so they may recharge Anand Ramlogan and Gerard Ramdeen?
Very interesting. Also, Keith Christopher Rowley should be or is being investigated by the police, the Integrity Commission, and different units of the police, special branch and anti-corruption units on following matters. the Police Service Commission debacle, the breaching of Section 123(4), the misbehavior in public office with himself, Paula May Weeks and Bliss C. Prasad, the fake oil matter when he was the Prime Minister and that was his good friend, and the decisions were taken by his government to shut down Petrotrin. All of that is under investigation by the Integrity Commission for his not filling out Form B and his lying on Form A and his not putting the correct value of the property, put it at 1.2 million when it was 1.68 million, as espoused and illustrated by his payment of 33,600 in stamp duty. All of these things, he is being investigated or should be investigated by the police. Imagine if the police happen to be independent and happen to do their job and happen to get past the appointed PNM Commissioner of Police and it happened to go by the DPP and they happen to charge Rowley. All he had to do is look at, psst, Christine girl, pardon me. Sure, Dr. Rowley, sure. While I make joke, it's a very serious thing. Rowley say, I don't want to be president. Rowley, we know that because president don't control money. President can't procure without procurement. President can't give out contract. President can't spend the people money, suffer the people and push all the money. President can't get no recusal. We know you don't want to go there. But you put your recruit there in case the independent in these institutions shake off the Balize poison and do their work. Prime Minister Rowley, Paula May served well. Yes, she served you well. Because you went and whispered in she ears on August 11, 2021, and you got rid of our Commissioner of Police that you lost confidence in, and you got her to breach the law, to breach Section 123. So for you, she performed well. Well, Nayan is Rowley's deputy. Well, no truer headline has ever been printed by the Express. Well, Express, this I don't know if you do this on purpose, you did it by mistake, but this is in the season of carnival. This is double entendre. You understand? This had two meaning, boy. Express, I think on you so bright, but anyway, I go utilize that. But you're correct, twice. Gadsby Dolly embraces new PNM leadership role. She embraces the role, or you embrace to get the role. Which one it is? And Gadsby Dolly, when you resigning from a PNM position, you don't use a Parliament MP letterhead. They didn't teach you that. You didn't learn that in school. It's inappropriate. It's wrong. It's not on. You don't use the government stationery, the letterhead of the government. You're a minister and a parliamentary representative for all the people. You sit in the parliament. That have nothing to do with your flipping PNM thing. Write it on your Balize letterhead, girl. You don't understand. When we have a dunce in charge of education, our children fail at SCA, CAPE, CSEC, lowest tertiary enrollment, right through. But no big thing. But Archie, Rowley is but Rowley, I don't understand. The PNM just had an election where a sitting prime minister win the election in the PNM with only 8,000 votes out of 120,000 and then celebrate that. But this lady didn't go, she went up. Rowley selected her. He said he didn't put a slate. But every night they campaigning together as a slate, right? Right. But he put her and tell her, go for vice chairman, let the people vote. And then 3 weeks or a month after the election, he said, wait. Forget our vice chairman thing. I go make you deputy political leader. That's the prime minister. Does that sound like someone who knows what they're doing? So what you put you through all the election for? And what it is, the PNM don't have enough people to fit. Oh yes, it don't. Because Noel Garcia have to spend all the money because all your PNM not bright. Well, what you want me to do? But you see, PNM, let me tell all you something. For the men, I ain't know how you're going to get through in the PNM. But, Archie, for the women, let the douglAr teach you how to. You want high position? Watch this. Run it, Archie.
For leadership, you must have somebody that is potent, all-powerful. Somebody who, when they speak, the earth rumbles.
And I got custom like a woman. You gotta groom her every day.
You must have that. Because if you don't have that, then what good is your party? And how could you say that you are following in the footsteps of the powerful PNM? So who else will be that potent member?
I'm a geologist, and I could tell you about the pains of a dry hole.
Of this leadership team, but our political leader, the Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. And of course, the P of the leadership, the potent person, the powerful person, the person who speaks and the earth rumbles and sometimes your heart too, our Prime Minister, our political leader, Dr. Keith Rowley.
Them ladies, you see the roadmap to success right there. Potent. I use all the douglAr politics I talk, I never use the word potent as much as she used that to describe Rowley. And that's why Rowley went in press conference to talk about the horny goat tweed. That horny goat tweed walking it potent, boy. Well, Stuart Young, he is the chairman. I tell all there's only one thing I was watching, because all your PNM like to play race. PNM is black man party, black man thing. Hey, right. I say I want to watch one race in the PNM election. I want to see this one, this elitist, this one who never lined with black people. Or you never see he before 2014. He was never even a member of the PNM. He never went down in no point 14 celebration and Rima celebration. He never party in upper level. All you never see him in no juve with Borokit. He only in the little section. And all you vote, he and PNM. When all you just come for election, all you just say who want to give who banana, who in Calcutta ship, them Indian in them lagoon, all you just try to divide. I say once all you choose this, Chindian, this half Chinese, half Indian from Barakpur over the black man who say, all you don't give me no black man politics again. Because I glad, because me I want no race politics, but all your PNM just play the race card right through. Well, when Professor Cujo hit it on this man started to talk about there's no place for racism in Trinidad and Tobago. And then he started to talk about how he come to serve the people. Really, boss? Every time you recuse yourself from the cabinet, which people you were serving? People you don't know or friends and family? That man recused himself from the cabinet over 50 times. Since he's swearing to be a super minister, he brother benefit from public money and contracts, $4.2 billion. Since he become a minister, he father Richard Young in charge of the IFC, 15 million per year by 7 million. Plus when the Economic Development Board collapsed, Rowley put he father in charge of all investments coming into Trinidad and Tobago to report to him and Rowley. He family benefit a lot, but he say he come to serve all year. As Minister of National Security, he had the silver medal, well he now get moved down to bronze because Fitzgerald Hines Passy, 539 murders under he. The year before 513. Lifeguards nowhere to change their clothes, no salaries. He was Minister of Communication, nothing. Them TTT and them was complaining. Anywhere he went, he failed. Minister of Energy, before he was Minister of Energy, he conduct negotiations and crash point leases, make NGC make a loss. Now he's the Minister of Energy. Collapse the entire energy sector. And he say his performance when he's a minister shows total elitist, nonsensical idiot. But because Rowley say, but he say 90% of the voters vote for him. 90% of 8,000. Them not really fool themselves. But he say, Stuart Smallpin Young, you say, there's no place for racism in the country, right? Well, I want to hear what you have to say about this small pin. Let me hear you now, you big. Run it, run Camille there, man.
And if I might mention Mr. Tiwari, I'm just picking him out because I consider him my friend, despite the fact that his name is Tiwari.
Yes, over to you, small pin. That's a funny joke. Despite the fact that his name is Tiwari, that's her friend. She's calling a friend. That's a funny joke. Or is it bloody racist? Huh? I'm asking you, since you say there's no place for racism, let me hear you stand up now, man. Use the man for all the people, all the races, all the downtrodden. Deal with the bald head witch. Deal with she. Let me hear you. Are you fighting? Okay, don't worry, baby boy. You deal with Asha Javid. Let me just say, I read a letter from Kendall Karan on that same Camille thing. While slurping my red Solo and watching the 7 p.m. newscast on TV6 on Monday, I didn't choke when Camille Robinson Regis said during an address that gentleman called Tiwari is her friend, even though his last name is Tiwari. I'd love to hear the flag bearer for the PNM, Lynette Joseph, play spin doctor and try to sanitize a statement. You know it doesn't matter. Like the mocking of Miss Prasad Bissessa's middle name, banning open fire cremations, geographical discrimination, the yellow sari episode, her Camille's obsession of indentureship being easier over slavery, and as far back as the cowshed inferences from Eric Williams, to name a few. Apparently racism is only experienced by the PNM and not towards anyone else. Another letter by Linda Shanti Capildeo. Disgusted by Camille, Camille Robinson Regis has once again degenerated into foul racism. It was disgusting to hear her say, Tiwari is my friend, despite his name. This is appalling and vulgar, sick and diseased, coming from a woman who lives in a multi-ethnic nation and swore to uphold a constitution that guarantees equality. Maybe the operative word for her is swore, since the aforementioned statement is a swearing slur. It is an ethnic cheap shot, besmirching and disparaging to all persons with East Indian surnames. So who else in Trinidad and Tobago go keep friends with persons despite their names being Lal, Rampasad or Maharaj, Ali or Razak? Does she have any douglAr friends like Shastri Roberts or maybe Rhoda Barrett? We wait to see if the Prime Minister will brush this off, as he does so at his political peril. May Stalin's fire burn them for this travesty of a minister. So over to you, Rowley and Smallpin. No racism, ain't? Well, boy, as I say that, I went in the Senate today and I see a boy called Richie Sukai, the newest PNM senator. I say, but I know this fella from somewhere, boy. And after this fella swearing, he kind of sauntering, kind of. Yeah, I know. He kind of, me, I thought Minister Man would have walked him in, if you understand. But after he swearing, I saw two things. He swearing on the guitar. I say, oh, PNM, get Hindu. But standing there in the wings were two PNM hayfairs, Camille Robinson Regis and Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines. Now, the convention and the norm is that after a man swear in, or a woman, they shake the hand of the leader of government business there, like Amory Brown there, and those senior ministers, they shake their hands, then they go wrong to the opposition and will shake Wade Mark hand, the leader of opposition business, and the independent benches and so on. But when this one swear in and walk towards Camille Robinson Regis and Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines, and I dare them to contradict what I am saying, their hands remain at their sides and they just smile and nod and went like this. No shake hand for the Hindu new PNM senator. But then I said, but I know this man from somewhere, boy. Richie Sukai, boy. Archie, remind me where I know this brand new PNM senator from. What? Run it, Archie. Y'all are such selfish, sick human beings. When all you come to talk some sense. Look how all you get mashed up over one little statement. You thought, oh, I'm going to just big up Rowley so he will like me and I can get some crumbs. Eh? Sukai, what your name? Richie Sukai. That the good looking one day, the young boy there. And Mukesh Ram Singh. Eh? I ain't gonna tell you what you look like, no? A blackout and possible blackout, no information on why the blackout occurred, total shutdown of business, total mass, we didn't know what was going on. All you happy? We not falling apart? No water across the country, 16% of households getting 24/7 supply. You happy with that? You all getting water in your businesses? Illegal Venezuelans everywhere, 200,000. How can our labor market, you saying labor market before COVID, people was getting job, we had a dearth of labor, we had a labor deficit. Where you learn that statistic? Please show me, because I reading all of it and me I see that. So either you dotish or you lie. The government not paying its bills. The government itself had to shut down EFCL and so on because it could not pay its bill. Ministry of Education phones get cut because they didn't pay the bill. TNTech not paying the bills. WASA not paying the bills. Government ministries not paying the bills. And we not falling apart. That's how you make an argument. Okay, Mr. Sweet Boy Rishi Sukai and Mr. Normal Kuvaman Mukesh Ramsingh, I need you all to respond. But all you didn't comment when Rowley attacked Guyana's vaccination program, Sukai, you're talking about unity and one love and so on. You didn't comment when Rowley blanked Guyana. When we attacked the US president, Rowley attacked them and attacked Mondelo and attacked the Americans and attacked Canada and European Union and align us with Russia, Iran and Venezuela. All you stayed quiet. Don't we do most of our business, Shagwana's chamber and Kuva chamber, with the US, Canada, and the European Union? So where was your mouth when Rowley put we in line with Equatorial Guinea, Russia, Iran, and Venezuela? You see, I want to hear y'all jump out. You jump out to lick K-Pax and PNM. Oh gosh, Rowley gonna love y'all. Y'all might get 2 contract. Congratulations, clowns. Well. They just say I have a crystal ball like Yestina Gonzalez. I tell the future. I hear Rishi Sukai like people who talk like this too. Hey, Rishi Sukai, welcome to politics. You see why you going to get it, Richie? Because you're a fraud. You stayed in an independent position of the president of the chamber, of the Shagwana's chamber, when you knew you were beholden to the PNM. You were loving PNM. You were a PNM. You are a dishonest, deceitful human being. You should have come out of there and be the PNM. Nothing wrong with that. But you see, the douglAr does watch all you. I didn't know who you was, Richie Sukai, but I read your words and I realized you was a PNM. Now all of a sudden, people excited. Oh, Sukai is a PNM. Look, since March 2022, I catch you already. So you get a little contract. You going there with Sukai? Okay, baby. All right. Well, congratulations. PNM give you money. All right. But let me ask you this, Sukai. And I'm hearing also Vasan, Bharat and others, 1 or 2 others, are celebrating. Don't put up that yet. Don't put up Vasan here, but you're coming good. Leave Sukai. I want to deal with Sukai. Sukai, since you're a Hindu, since you're a businessman, you joined the PNM. You see, politics is not a game. Politics is a very serious thing. Politics for people like Vasant and others is a little game about who get what position and so on. But politics for people like me is a very serious thing. It's a philosophical position. You see, I am philosophically opposed to Keith Rowley getting a report on children being buggered and raped and holding it for 14 months and doing nothing. So no contract, no position, no ministry could make me go and shake Rowley's hand. I am philosophically opposed to Rowley breaking down procurement and making it easy for his friends and family to thief. I am philosophically opposed to cabinet recusals and family benefiting from state resources. I am philosophically opposed to a man who uses power position as a teacher to impregnate a girl of school age. So opposed that nobody will line with me even I don't even drink a rum and soda with people like that. So I'm asking you, since you have joined that team, what is your position as a Hindu on Rowley's open fire discrimination, open fire cremation discrimination during COVID? You are okay with that because you've joined that. What is your position on the PNM Family Day with red gorillas raping and pulling the yellow sari off a woman? You agree? Well, you might agree with that, me and Richie Sukai, because you're in politics now. Welcome. The douglAr will really deal with you bit by bit, okay? ¿Qué pasa, amigo? ¿Todo bien? Cállate, espérate. What's your position with the closure of rivers but beaches staying open when the East Indian community uses the rivers and the PNM use a COVID policy to discriminate against the East Indian population? What is your position on Keith Rowley's Indian Arrival Day message that tried to equate slavery and indenture and tried to say that the Indians did not suffer, that they negotiated contracts? Illiterate Indians on the Fatal Razak who were fooled to come here to work like dogs here, one step above slavery. They couldn't read and write, but Rowley writes a message to say that they signed contract, they negotiated contract for pay. Abject total nonsense, racist talk. What's your position on that, Rishi Sukai of the PNM? You see? Or is it just you got a job? You got a contract, you're friends with Rohan, you hug up who? Al-Rawi? You might like Al-Rawi too. You look like you want a tight suit like him too. But what's your philosophical position? What is your position when Rowley attacks Curry and Doubles for no reason other than racist reasons? What's your position on your new colleague who didn't shake your hand in the Senate today, Camille Robinson Regis, attacking Kamala Prasad Bisesa and East Indian people about their names and ridiculing them? What about Winford James, friends of Rowley, who wrote an article ridiculing cricketers' names in India, the East Indian heritage? What's your position? Because you joined the team. You're part and parcel of that. You believe in that. What's your position on the Nelson Gate affair and Faris Al-Rawi paying and bribing a witness in a criminal matter to be a witness against political opponents and stepping over the bounds of the jurisdiction of the DPP? Or you didn't think all of that? You just went for what? You get contract, you get position to be a big boy, Erichi Shukai, and you didn't think all of that? But you really look like you fit in the PNM very good. You will make good friends with Keith Scotland, Amory Brown, the Minister Man, Colm, Faris, Randall Mitchell. You'll fit in good Friday. But I hear you was Vassant boy. And Vassant now, put up Vassant now. Vassant, you come out. Vassant, you just like clicks. Early in the year you come out. You have nothing to say with Nelson Gate. You have nothing to say about Kangaloo putting a Balize flag in President's house. You have nothing to say when a 6-year-old girl get murdered with a bullet through her chest. Nothing to say on 614 murders. Nothing to say about corruption. Nothing to say that the procurement regulator 5-year term is over and the PNM has not even proclaimed the water down legislation. Nothing to say about flooding and the food price inflation. Nothing to say about the energy sector. Nothing to say about your PNM roadmap committee that you went and joined Rowley. But you pretend you're a UNC. Okay, Vassant. Let's read what Vassant has said. Now, this is a man who would not even come out when Clarence Ramarat was attacking Kamala's agricultural policy and Vassant was the Minister of Agriculture. He wouldn't come out and defend his own policy, This clown they call Vassant. The selection of Richie Sukai by the PNM to replace Christine Kangaloo in the Senate is an astute and politically clever move by Dr. Rowley, who continues to outperform, outmaneuver, and outfox his counterpart in the opposition. Really? You sound like the only word you leave out there, Vassant, is potent. You sound like you should go on a platform and talk like Gatsby Dolly and say Rowley is potent. That's what you sound like, Vasant. Not sounding very good. So if you are so happy and impressed with Rowley, you done join the roadmap to recovery, you done went down in a red jersey to try and beat Michelle Benjamin and she beat you. Go with Richie Sukai, join the PNM. Who the hell you fooling, Vasant? You disgusting fool. What's your position on the TNTech, the RIC, the increased rates, the lack of foreign exchange, the stabilization of the economy, no foreign direct investment, collapsing roads and infrastructure, COVID-19 coming back again? You have no opinion on that. You come to say that because Rowley choose a friend of yours, he is astute. Rowley is astute, yes. Correct. And so are you. He go, I can't read that strip. So let me ask Richie a few things, Richie. Richie, are you a member of the PNM? Are you a member of the PNM? You see, the PNM is an old political party. And there are many members of the PNM who've come through the ranks and would love to sit in the Senate. Richie, I'm talking for my PNM brothers and them with the card who pay their membership long and thing. They want to know how you reach in the Senate and them can't reach nowhere. How the black brothers and them can't reach. But you reach. Are you a member of the PNM? If so, when did you fill out your form? When did you, what recommended you? How much did you pay? When did you become a member? And if you're not a member of the PNM, do you know that it's against the PNM policy to put someone in the Senate who's not a member of the PNM? And to all the other members of the PNM, here's Richie Sukai. Vasant say he's a great political stroke. Sukai? What? Because what? He get contract? What makes it? Politics is what? This? Boy, Sukai, welcome, boy. Welcome, Richie. Bienvenido, Richie. Welcome, you big clown. We done make you before you come. Look, it's March 2022 when you was licking Rohan K-Pax a contract. So the PNM, the great Vasant, is saying that this is a great move. That a next man will go in the cabinet to get recusal so his family could make money. That's great, Vasant. Vasant, that's a great philosophy. Just take businessman to make money from government contract. Brilliant. Kamala is not of that. Kamala is about differently able children, school children, education, roads, social development, opportunities, foreign direct investment, tertiary education, moving the economy forward, diversification of the economy, sport, tourism, culture, pan. But Kamala is not there to make our next businessman richer. Move this Rishi Sukai. Good night.
For me, interactive communication was established, conveying that the divers were alive. The tapping transmitted meaning, and the divers in the pipe were making SOS sounds and wanted to live.